Hey people, I've been noticing a lot of YouTube users are talking about something called the alpha stem device. And some of us have this stigma of not being able to, maybe talk about things that bring us down, or we may have our own emotional issues, or just things that can cause anxiety, stress. Some of us are a little more stressed out than others, blah blah blah. We have more on our plate, things like that nature. And I'm one of those types who easily gets stressed out for some reason. I guess it's part of the anxiousness I've suffered with and in general in life due to the stressors I've been given, my karma as I call it. But anyhow, there's some users who've been being very, I would say, being very wonderfully straightforward about what they've suffered, and also offering, to others in our, human family here through YouTube, ways to recover from such, debilitating situations such as anxiety, stress, and depression. And this wonder that they're talking about is called Alpha Stem. It's a device which costs about $895, and it's based on biophysics, which actually has been going on since actually probably since the 1950s, 60s. A lot of research in Russia was showing that how certain waveforms, like as you see in a physics lab, let's say using a electrosonograph or EEG, brain waves, alpha, theta, blah, blah, blah. Well, these waves have a correspondence with our brain chemistry, and it only makes sense because that's why, when you get an x-ray done, you shouldn't be wearing magnets, blah, blah, blah. I mean, connect the dots. Well, anyhow, in the 50s, 60s, you had Russia who had been doing this research, and remember the politics involved. We were in the Cold War, correct, at that time. So therefore, this Russian research, which was, to be honest, very thought-provoking as well as convincing, we're showing through biophysics research that actually our brains could be manipulated through these wave patterns, and that actually our brain, as we're lately in the buzzword, is that there's a plasticity to our brain. Well, this plasticity is the most wonderful thing about our brain. The brain can regenerate, reprogram itself, if you want to look at it in a very simple way as in a computer, and also reinvigorate itself, and can regenerate itself back to a more stable self, to a more stable, or what we call a homeostatic state, which is the original state. Well, anyhow, the point is this alpha stem works in such a manner. It furthermore doesn't require much time, and the most wonderful thing is that there's no side effects. Because of the Cold War and the pharmaceutical industries and the political nature of things, and the fact that people were getting huge amounts of cash and huge power trips, blah blah blah, that is why the alpha stem took a long time to get into research, or not into vogue, because honestly, let's think about it. There are so many natural methods to reclaiming our body to reach its most optimum state, and alpha stem including being one of those. It is a very simple device, as you notice here. It is actually, the device is a piece of junk in terms of construction. It's a plastic device that, if dropped, would break. It reminds you of a device from the 70s and 60s where, like a little video game device, like you remember that Mattel football kind of device, thing like that. It's got that kind of plastic. I think one of the most important things is that it should be re-engineered. Maybe put it in a little more metal constructive and using metal construction. There's a power switch here, right here, and below, or to the right, to the left of it are actually two input ports for where you get this earlobe piece, and then also there's other attachments which allow you to take care of like muscle pain and even headaches, all kinds of things. And the wave pattern that it generates, it corresponds to the brain as well as to the body's resonance or frequency resonance. And clearly, if you do more research, you'll realize that biophysics has been around for quite a while, and it's just that we're seeing our consciousness is changing on this planet. We're realizing that certain things aren't becoming as important, like greed and avarice and other things, and maybe we're becoming more close to one another. Humanity's evolving, and it's bringing us more close to one another. This is I'm sorry to get philosophical, but it has a lot to do with this. Why we're even getting a device such as this out in the market now. And below, you have the time, which it's a timer for the device. It has everything from 10 seconds all the way to infinity, which basically the device works is a counter as opposed to a countdown. And as you'll see, I use this device. Try to use it daily. It's true that once you start using the device daily, you may get lapses where you won't use it as much. But clearly, it's recommended, I think, from my feelings as well as doctors around, including family members who are doctors, that it's best to use the device daily, and it's probably best, obviously, to use it in the morning. I would think that is the best time to use it. However, interesting, because it's electricity and it's a jolt, and in Ayurveda we have terms such as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the best time possibly for it to be used may be midday, because Pitta is a state of a bodily state which is ruled by two planets, Mars and Sun, and both of these planets rule from association electricity or solar, as in solar power coming from the sun. So my feeling is that actually the morning may be the best time to use it initially, but later, as you get more comfortable with it and see better results, which you will, because you'll see several YouTube users who have confirmed this, that later on you may consider using it midday, because it's more of a Pitta energy type, and therefore it will stimulate the brain better at that time. I've noticed that you want to keep a little sensation in the ears. You may sometimes, depending on your mood, want to stimulate yourself a little harder. That's using this dial here, which is numbered from 1 to 6, 0 to 6, representing the intensity of the current, its prickling or sensation or jolt feel. It's an amazing device. It shows how fundamentally everything we've learned in our academics, from going to school, studying physics, studying chemistry, studying biology, how clearly that frequency and resonance plays a huge part on our bodies, and how really we're entering a Star Trek phase. Like you saw, on the Star Trek ship, the scanner being used and it was a frequency scanner, obviously, or sonar, or whatever, something that resonates with the body's frequency, and that's how we would see disease. And clearly we're coming to a stage where our understanding of biology, physics, and chemistry with relation to the body is becoming more truthful. Really, it's not so much that it wasn't there. It's just that the truth is coming out, and some of us are still holding on to the past where truth was not necessary, and but truth is now becoming more important, and it may be because our material stage of life has increased, following Maslow's laws, and we're realizing the importance of being more compassionate to the world and helping one another. So I hope this device can make a difference in your life. It is about $895, but I've heard from others there's people selling used ones, so for those who can't afford it, there are credit card options. You get a lot of 0% financing on credit cards. You can, for 18 months, 12 months, you can purchase it and, split those payments up. At least by that time, by the 6-month time where you paid for it, you'll realize that you can actually afford to, get rid of this. To fully pay for it using that payment plan, and you can then, feel happy that, you not only got you got over your hump of, this debilitating situation. So all the best to you. My time is running up on my YouTube, and I hope you can check out this device. See ya. Bye.